Welcome to my video. I'm Shakira Logwood. I'm excited to start my YouTube journey. I, for one, have been very intrigued about bringing attention to these social issues, these social problems. What I want to talk about today, recidivism, it is the tendency for an offender to reoffend, and talking about like prison, jail, criminal behavior. So I've been doing research about recidivism, how to handle the problem. And it is a problem of people reoffending and going back to jails. Prison population is huge, and with this whole pandemic going around right now, unsafe. It's just a very unsafe area. People in jails aren't getting the proper care that they need to prevent the coronavirus. So I've just been doing research over recidivism, and now it's not very practical that legislation is going to pass like right here, right now. Like this is going to happen like immediately. Like it's not going to be an immediate fix, but you can't fix a problem you haven't located. So my intentions right now is to bring awareness to the situation and kind of bring up my own thoughts of how I feel like the problem could be solved, a way we could approach the problem, a way we can handle this, in an appropriate way. So some historical information. The purpose of the prison system is to impose solitude on someone who has committed a crime against society by serving time away from society. The nature of the crime should be the determinant of the time served, along with circumstantial evidence. The transition into society should not be difficult. First claim. Education starting at a young age about the long-term effects of committing a crime and how it could affect future income and lifestyles opportunities is necessary because it could lessen the chance of juveniles willing to risk their future. Education about the minimal lifestyles you could live with a felony in the United States and the minimal job opportunities will probably open a lot more youth's eyes about how this can brutally impact their future. Waiting to educate until high school is too behind the curve because streets have already made their appeal to the youth. I, for one, don't believe a child is too young to be educated about the possible consequences of doing a bad action. My second claim would be if prisoners were not treated inhumanely and instead received the help they needed through prison programming, such as mental health support, data shows that a person is less likely to reoffend. And let's talk about the inhumane treatment that I am referring to. Here recently, there has been riots in the Lansing Correctional Facility here in Kansas, and it's over the coronavirus. Okay, the inmates feel like proper protocol is not being followed to protect them from getting infected from the coronavirus. So prison reform. Why prison reform matters. Charles Koch Institute has been advocating for prison reforms. And if you go to the Charles Koch Institute website, you will find information about prison reforms and why it's important. And on here they talk about how prison reform is a way to ensure public safety and restore those cultures within the circumstances of incarceration, and creating a constructive culture throughout these reforms, giving them the skills where they can come out of prison and be productive, be a part of society, and not have to reoffend, because a lot of the times when you reoffend, it's because it's necessary. It's what it's you're going back to the familiar. A third claim, The legal barriers an ex-offender faces when attempting to get a house or a job prohibits them from being able to reintegrate into society. Oftentimes, it's hard to go out and find a job, go out and do said normal things that normal people get to do. That's based on how difficult it is for an ex-convict to reintegrate into society. There's a lot of obstacles preventing them from getting jobs, from living a normal life, from doing things like voting, just a lot of obstacles. And a counterclaim: majority of those incarcerated in state prisons are not because of misdemeanors, but because they have committed a violent crime. And incarceration contributes to low crime rates in society. I don't know. There's a lot of harsh crimes out there, and I'm not saying that people should get a slap on the wrist. That's not what I'm saying at all. But I'm saying people should at least have the opportunity to change, have the opportunity to do good after making a mistake. Because we all make mistakes, some greater than the other, But we all make mistakes, And so my conclusion is that basically is the criminal justice system promotes recidivism by the lack of resources and education given to the inmates, causing them to have little choice but to reoffend. Therefore, the United States government should intervene and create mandatory prison programming and facilitate employment for those struggling after being incarcerated to help eliminate those numbers. I would love to hear your thoughts or your takes or your views on recidivism. I will use the links that I used to research in the bio. I hope that you enjoyed this video. I hope that you learned something. I hope that you took something from it. I hope that you formed your own opinion. I hope that you'll take the time to research.